Hey there, this is Pam Baldwin. I'm here today to share a new layout with you that I've made using Ali Edwards' digital stamp set, Get Real, which is available on her website, and I'll be sure to include a link on my blog so that you can track the set more easily. It's pretty fantastic. I've used it in 4 different spots on this layout, but the most notable one is this big Imperfect and Awesome stamp that's right here on my picture, and I'm using it as kind of like a title on this layout. As soon as I saw that sentiment, imperfect and awesome, and also this phrase up here, real life is a beautiful life, I knew for sure right away that this was the picture that I had to use with it. It's a favorite picture of mine, and this is kind of what life looked like about 6 weeks after our son was born and my husband and I became parents for the first time. So what you might not be able to tell by looking at this layout now is that this picture was actually originally this picture. This is actually a landscape or a horizontally oriented picture, and I needed some room on it to include my digital stamp. And one thing that you'll probably see if you've seen many of my layouts before is that I like big pictures. I love doing 2-page layouts that have a full big picture on one side and then room for journaling and embellishing on the other side, a spot to tell my story. So this is what the picture originally looked like, and I wanted to be able to turn it into this so that there was room for my digital artwork, which was going to function as my title on this layout. So I'm going to run you through quickly my process for how I got this picture to turn into this layout. So I started by creating a new 8.5 by 11 canvas in Photoshop Elements, which I've already done here. And I'm just going to drag my picture up onto the canvas and resize it so that it fits the space and keep it at the bottom. So my goal here is to be able to make it look fairly seamless. I don't really want to, I want this to look as though it blended naturally in as part of the picture. So I'm going to take the eyedropper tool on the left hand side and click near the top edge of my photo. You can see kind of in my palette over here that it selected a color that was similar to the wall. I'm also going to select my paint bucket tool and fill in the top portion of that photo. So that's a pretty good start. You can see that it's not too far off from the colors that were there before, but I need this to blend in a little bit more naturally. Right now there's too much of a separation between the two spots. So I'm going to take my clone tool here. Or a stamp rather, a clone stamp tool, and I've got it set to a fairly big size. It's at about 290 pixels, and of course you can adjust that to make it bigger or smaller, however it'll work for you. Also, the opacity of this brush is set to 66% right now. So that means that once I select the space that I want it to work on, it won't turn it like completely opaque. You'll be able to see just a little bit of transparency behind it still, and it will help it blend the 2 pages together a little bit more easily. So I'm going to, on my PC, hold down the Alt key, left click on my mouse at the same time. And that sets it as, that's the starting point that I want to use to blend these 2 pictures together. So when I go ahead and start, I click on the mouse and hold the button down at the same time, and I'm going to start blending these 2 spots together. You just kind of play around with a spot until you have made the 2 spaces look fairly seamless. A few clicks, a few more. I'm going to reset my starting spot here. I think I was a little bit too close to the edge the first time. So going back over it now. Just going to try to, there was a little bit more of a dark shadowed spot on the left there, so I'm going to blend it all in. One more time, resetting my spot, and there we go. There's even a little bit of extra white there. There! So now it almost looks as though this was the original picture to begin with, as though there wasn't a horizontally oriented photo in the first place. So now I'm going to go ahead and just click and drag my digital stamp into the spot here. Place it somewhere around the middle. That looks pretty good to me. I'm going to fill this in with white preserving the transparency, and drag up the other sentiment as well. The real life is a beautiful life. Put that into position. I think I'd like it to line up just a little bit better with the imperfect and awesome. I'm going to fill that layer in as well. Preserving the transparency is white. I think I might make this title just a little bit bigger. And I want to move the other one up just a bit. There we go. So there you go. That's one of my tricks that I use for adding more white space onto my photos, and it just creates a much nicer spot to be able to include your digital stamps and your digital artwork. Thanks so much for stopping by.